There are moments in life when the silence becomes so loud it starts to sound like a verdict. When no one calls, when no one believes you, when doors close and even your own heart begins to question whether what you felt was ever real. But Scorpio, what if I told you that the silence wasn't punishment? It was preparation. Because the universe does not forget, and what was once buried has now been reopened. This isn't just a metaphor. Your case, your karmic file, your soul's testimony has officially been reactivated in the records of divine timing. And you didn't stumble upon this message by chance. You were led here. Scorpio, you've carried truths that no one dared to hear. You've swallowed injustices with a bitter calm, and the world may have moved on, but energy doesn't lie. Somewhere in the unseen, something has shifted. A ruling is being reversed. A window that was shut with force is now opening with purpose. And the question isn't whether justice is coming, it's whether you're finally ready to receive it. Have you noticed the signs lately? Recurring numbers like 1111 or 404 appearing again and again. Strange dreams, courtrooms, contracts, decisions. People from your past surfacing in your mind out of nowhere. These aren't coincidences. They're notifications. Your soul has already received the verdict, and now your consciousness is catching up. This is the moment where your past pain meets future peace. But this won't be loud. It won't be posted in headlines. It will come quietly in a message, a phone call, a letter, a shift in atmosphere that only you can feel. Because Scorpio doesn't need the world to clap. You only need the universe to remember. And it has. So before we go deeper, place your hand gently over your chest. Breathe with me. Close your eyes if it feels right. And whisper this to yourself. I am no longer waiting. I am ready to receive what is mine. Let this moment mark the beginning of your return. Because your case has been reopened. And this time, justice comes with your name written in gold. Part 1. The delayed case of the soul. Some stories don't end, they just pause. Frozen in time, like a courtroom that was suddenly cleared without explanation. The documents unfinished. The evidence misplaced. The truth silenced. And for Scorpio, that silence was never peaceful. It was haunting. You've always known there was something unresolved in your story, something left hanging in the invisible, something no one else seemed to notice or care enough to name. You carried it anyway, quietly, powerfully, painfully. But let me ask you, what if what you thought was the end was actually the intermission? What if your soul's case, the moment you were wronged, forgotten, underestimated, betrayed, was not dismissed but only delayed? Scorpio, your entire life has been marked by deep emotional trials. Not surface-level conflicts, but underground wars. Battles fought in the hidden chambers of the heart in places no one else could enter. You've buried versions of yourself just to survive, and yet something in you has always whispered, it wasn't supposed to end like this. That whisper was correct, because right now, energetically, spiritually, and cosmically, your soul's case has been reopened. Not in a human courtroom, but in the higher realms. And not because you demanded it, but because you endured. This is not just about the person who hurt you. It's not even just about a specific event. This is about the universe circling back not to avenge, but to bring completion. Because completion is power. And Scorpio, you were never meant to stay in unfinished energy. Astrologically speaking, this moment ties deeply to your ruling planet Pluto, the underworld dweller, the transformer, the revealer of buried truths. Pluto doesn't move quickly, but when it does, it reshapes everything. And when Pluto activates your 8th house, the house of death, rebirth, shared power, and karmic ties, it begins the most sacred work of all, the release of soul-level injustice. That's what's happening now. And that's why you've been feeling strange, restless, alert, not anxious, but aware. as if something old is surfacing. It is. The old file is back on the desk of the universe. You may start remembering things you haven't thought of in years. A conversation, a betrayal, an apology that never came, a boundary you wish you'd drawn. These aren't random thoughts. They're energetic echoes of the file being reviewed. And here's the truth. You don't need to prove your pain anymore. You don't need to rehearse the story one more time. The evidence is in the energy, and energy does not lie. Your emotions have been witnesses. Your stillness has been testimony. Your faith, the quiet decision to not collapse, has already spoken volumes. You are not on trial, but justice is. And this time it won't fail you. Now I want to ask you something bold. Are you ready to stop rehearsing the past and start receiving your restoration? Because many Scorpios unknowingly stay locked in the courtroom, not because the judge kept them there, but because they kept going back, hoping someone would finally listen. But now the universe is saying, we've heard you. You may rise. You are being released not just from the pain, but from the position of having to explain it ever again. This is why your case was delayed, not to punish you, but to preserve your power until you were strong enough to rise without needing permission. You are now stepping into that moment. Life lesson. Justice is not always denied. Sometimes it's just delayed until you're strong enough to carry the reward. The things that didn't happen when you begged for them are now happening because you stopped begging and started healing. You don't need everyone to understand your pain to be free from it. You only need to stop sitting in the courtroom long after the trial ended. Let this be the day you close the door, not in bitterness, but in strength. Let this be the moment you stand up from the witness seat and walk out, knowing your case is in divine hands now. Part 2. Scorpio and the Forgotten Fight. Scorpio, there's something uniquely painful about being the one who remembers, the one who carries the wound long after the world forgets. The one who still hears the echo of betrayal in the silence of the night. The one who has mastered the art of smiling while bleeding internally, not because you're weak, but because you refuse to let them see you fall. You've always been a warrior, but unlike others, your battlefield isn't visible. It lives inside you, quiet, endless, and deep. And because you rarely speak of it, the world assumes you've moved on. But you know better. You never moved on. You moved forward carrying everything they thought you forgot. That's the forgotten fight. The inner war no one applauds. The emotional weight no one acknowledges. The invisible loyalty you gave to people who didn't deserve it. And the peace you sacrificed so others could feel safe even when you weren't. But now something powerful is happening. Not outside of you, but within you. The soul gets tired, Scorpio. Not from pain, but from not being seen in it. And so, for a long time, you did what Scorpios do best. You disappeared. You went into your emotional cave. You burned everything that made you vulnerable, even love, just to protect your core. They called you cold. But what they never understood is that ice is what forms around fire that has been burning too long without rest. You weren't cold, you were exhausted. You were waiting for justice, not just from them, but from life. And maybe you started to believe it would never come, that the people who hurt you would never be held accountable, that the silence would always win, that the apology would never arrive, that your side of the story would remain buried forever. But here's what I need you to hear right now. The story is not over. It's just now beginning to unfold in truth. The universe never needed the world to validate you. It only needed you to survive long enough to reach this moment. This exact moment where your emotional scars are no longer marks of shame, but badges of spiritual endurance. What they forgot, what they dismissed, what they mocked, is now the very evidence being used to reopen your case in the realm of divine justice. Because there's one truth about Scorpio that no one can erase, you transform pain into power, always. And that power, it's returning now. You may not see the full picture yet, but small signs will begin to show: an old friend reaching out, a conversation that brings closure, a random check in the mail, a truth that finally surfaces not because you chased it, but because the energy demanded it. You're no longer fighting, you're receiving. And that shift changes everything. You don't owe anyone your explanation. You don't need to prove why you were hurt. You only need to remember this. The soul never forgets, and neither does the universe. This is not the moment to shrink, it's the moment to rise not in defense, but in dignity. You're not just a survivor of something hard. You are the living proof that integrity has a pulse, even in a world that forgets quickly. Life lesson. Being forgotten by people is not the same as being forgotten by the universe. Silence isn't always abandonment. Sometimes it's sacred space created for your transformation. When no one clapped, you kept walking. When no one said sorry, you healed anyway. When no one saw your pain, you still chose peace. And that is why justice is now finding its way back to you. Not because you forced it, but because you endured it and chose not to become it. Part 3. The return of sacred justice. There are forces in this world that operate in silence, quiet, steady, invisible to the eye but undeniable to the soul. Justice is one of them. It doesn't always arrive in a courtroom. Sometimes it comes in a whisper, a knock, a document, a delay that finally breaks. And when it does, especially for Scorpio, it rarely looks like vengeance. It looks like truth restored. Right now, the universe is moving through one of its rarest alignments for you. Pluto, your ruling planet, is activating its final deep sweep through your soul contracts. It's passing through the 8th house, Scorpio's natural home, the domain of inheritances, shared wealth transformation, death and rebirth. And what's meeting it there is Saturn. Saturn, the judge, the accountant of karma. When these two energies combine, we are no longer talking about abstract healing. We are talking about karmic audits, about long-delayed closures, about spiritual settlements that must now be paid in full. The universe is not emotional about this, it is precise. In the language of tarot, 2 cards are speaking clearly right now. Justice, the scales balanced, the truth made visible. 6 of Pentacles, the sacred act of giving and receiving, of redistribution that is both financial and energetic. These are not just pretty cards. They are mirrors of what's unfolding in your real life. Something that was once held back from you intentionally or by divine delay is being returned. This may come as a financial settlement, an inheritance once trapped in limbo, a legal or government-related resolution, a message from an attorney, administrator, or agent who suddenly has news. But the point is not the person delivering the message. It's what they carry, the energetic proof that what was once denied is now being released. And Scorpio, let's be honest, you've waited long, not just in time, but in silence. So many moments where you chose not to fight. So many times you swallowed your voice because you thought, maybe it's not worth it. Maybe I'm not meant to receive it. But let me say this clearly. It wasn't a no, it was a not yet. The hands that blocked it were not stronger than the hands now releasing it. And the delay, that wasn't punishment. That was protection. Because if this blessing had come before, you would have spent it trying to prove you deserved it. Now you simply know you do. But here's the part most people miss about justice. It's not passive. This is a sacred moment, but it calls you to participate. Start by preparing. Review old paperwork. Check your inbox. Revisit that thing you put off long ago. Follow your intuition if it tells you to double-check something. This is not paranoia, it's alignment. The universe sends signs, but you must respond. And action is how you enter agreement with divine timing. Because justice doesn't only return when you demand it. It returns when you are energetically aligned to receive it. You no longer need to prove your worthiness, but you do need to get ready to receive, to respond, to believe. Because here's what's also true. Many people subconsciously reject justice when it finally shows up. They tell themselves they're not ready. They wonder if it's too good to be true. They fear it will be taken again. Don't do that, Scorpio, not this time. Let yourself receive without suspicion. Let the door open and walk through it. Not because it means you've won, but because it confirms you were never truly forgotten. Life lesson. Justice doesn't always come when you cry for it. Sometimes it arrives when you no longer chase it, but quietly become it. You are not receiving this because you begged. You are receiving this because you stayed aligned even when it made no sense to do so. What was once blocked is now flowing. What was once lost is now returning. And what was once silenced is now speaking on your behalf. Don't fear the paperwork. Don't question the message. Don't second guess the timing. The scales are in motion, and this time they are tilting in your favor. Part 4. Not just a victory, a healing. There's a part of justice that no one talks about. The quiet that follows the breakthrough. The stillness after the phone call, the document, the settlement. The moment where the world says you got what you deserved, but inside, you still feel haunted by what it took to get here. Scorpio, this is where many souls get stuck. They fight for the truth to be seen, for the weight to be lifted, and when it finally is, they're surprised by what lingers. The ache, the residue, the emotion that didn't leave with the verdict. Because what we call justice on paper doesn't always equal peace in the heart. You've carried the burden of silence for so long that when your truth is finally confirmed, it doesn't feel like a celebration, it feels like a reckoning. A reckoning with everything you buried to survive. With every moment you told yourself, I'm fine. With every version of you that kept walking when no one stood beside you. But hear me now, this is not just a time to acknowledge what happened. This is the moment to release what it cost you emotionally. Because Scorpio, winning is not the same as healing, and you didn't come this far just to carry the weight more quietly. You came to be free. Sometimes freedom arrives not with trumpets, but with tears. You might cry this week for reasons you can't explain. You might feel old memories rushing in, not to torture you, but to be released. You might feel a name rise in your mind, someone who left without closure. Or maybe someone returns not by accident, but by divine permission. This person may be a parent, an ex, a sibling, or a friend. They might not have the perfect words. They may never say exactly what you needed to hear, but their energy will speak, and you will know in your bones this is part of the unraveling. Not everyone who comes back deserves a place in your life, but every return carries a mirror that reflects not just who they were, but who you have become. This is your spiritual checkpoint. Not a test of forgiveness, but a test of boundaries. Not a lesson in reconnection, but a lesson in self-respect. Because Scorpio, here's what they don't understand about you. You don't seek revenge, you seek release. And true release doesn't come from screaming. It comes from breathing. It comes from walking away, not in bitterness, but in power. It comes from saying, I forgive us both, but I choose myself now. You might not say it out loud. You might write a letter you never send. You might light a candle and whisper their name to the wind. You might cry in the car, then smile in the mirror. All of it counts. All of it heals. This is not weakness. This is sacred clearing. You're not giving them a free pass. You're cutting the cord that kept you tied to a version of yourself that no longer fits. You are not who you were when they hurt you. You are not the same Scorpio who begged for closure. You are reborn in the silence they once mistook for defeat. Now is the time to create space, not just in your calendar, but in your heart. Space for peace, space for ease, space for joy that isn't followed by guilt. Let the colors of this season support your process. Ocean blue to wash away old grief. The waves don't erase, they purify. Gold to amplify your worth, not what the world gives you, but what you've always carried inside. As you sit with these emotions, try this simple 3-minute ritual. Sit quietly, place one hand on your heart, breathe in slowly and say, I choose to remember without reliving. I choose to release without regret. I choose to love without losing myself. Repeat it. Let it settle. Let it soften what's still clinging. Because healing isn't about pretending it never happened. It's about choosing not to carry it anymore. Life lesson. Victory is external. Healing is internal. You can win the case and still need to tend to your soul. Let this be your moment of emotional closure, not because they said sorry, but because you decided to live free. You don't need anyone to validate the pain. You only need to honor the part of you that survived it. And that, Scorpio, is how you turn justice into liberation. Part 5, your final verdict, a life rewritten in light. So here we are, Scorpio, at the threshold, where the courtroom of the soul closes and the door to your next life chapter quietly opens. But this time you're not walking in wounded, you're walking in whole. You've seen what it feels like to wait without answers, to love without return, to hold your dignity in one hand and your grief in the other. And yet, you stayed. You remained true to your spirit even when logic begged you to give up. You chose to evolve in silence while others celebrated your suffering. That right there is why this moment is not random, it is earned. Because divine justice doesn't arrive to make noise, it arrives to make things right. And now, after everything you've endured, the delays, the losses, the betrayals, you're not just getting answers, you're getting restoration. But not the kind that puts you back where you were, the kind that places you beyond it. This was never about punishment, it was about preparation. You didn't lose time, you gained resilience. You didn't lose people, you cleared space. You didn't lose yourself. You found the version of you that no longer begs to be seen because you finally see yourself. Scorpio, you were never the villain in your story. You were the warrior being shaped by unseen hands, the hands of justice, the hands of grace, the hands of the universe holding your soul with quiet precision. Now, as this chapter closes, you are no longer in waiting. You are in receiving. Let the world say what it wants. Let the past knock if it must. Let the memories pass through like wind. But you stay centered. In your peace, in your power, in your promise. Life lesson. Healing is not the end of your story. It is the beginning of your power. You are not who you were when this began, and you'll never be that person again. Because the final verdict was never about who hurt you, it was about who you became in the healing. And Scorpio, you became unshakable. Final invitation. If this message touched your soul, if even a single sentence felt like it was written just for you, then don't let this moment pass in silence. Comment below with the words, "Justice found me." I choose peace now. Let those words anchor in your spirit. Let them echo into your future. And in doing so, know this, you are not alone. You never were. And from this moment forward, you never will be again. And if this message spoke to you, if you felt seen, heard, or even just softened by the words whispered here today, then I invite you to stay. Not just for this video, but for the journey. This space, the path to Buddha wisdom, is more than a channel. It's a sanctuary, a sacred space for souls like yours. Souls that feel deeply loved silently and rise quietly from every fall. Subscribe now, not for me, but for you. For the moments ahead when you'll need a reminder that your path is not accidental, that your healing has meaning, that your voice matters, even in silence. And if you feel moved, drop your truth in the comments. A word, a number, a sentence, even a whisper like "I'm still here and I'm still becoming." Because your presence here, it's not just seen, it's felt. And together we're not just surviving this journey, we're transforming through it. So go ahead, hit that subscribe button, join the circle. And remember this, you are not broken. You are becoming, and you are not alone.